It was on the Monday before the race. We loaded the trailer. We had Tuesday practice, Wednesday practice, and then a Wednesday flight, I think. And it was probably our worst practice. I think we were 4th or 5th in the time trial. And so it was kind of a shock getting off the water and finding out that not only were we not the fastest, we were not top 3.
So the night before the race, before our grand final, we saw this like dodgy looking gas station / fireworks store that we really wanted to check out. We weren't really doing anything. We were racing later in the day, so
I think it was John's idea to go just do something that evening so we weren't sitting in bed all day. And we ended up going, just driving around in Tennessee. And we ended up in Loudon, Tennessee, which is a tiny town. Everything was closed except for the First Baptist Church of Loudon, Tennessee.
And there's this church with the lights on, and I'm like, guys, we need to go in there. So we walk up and we open the door, and there's like 2 families just sitting there. And we introduce ourselves and we start talking, and they're really great people.
Pastor Jeremy, he said, I don't know where you're coming from and I don't know where you're going, but we're gonna wish you luck in that race.
John Morgan did a prayer. He's gonna deny it, but he did do a prayer. Yeah, that was a really great time. It kind of eased the tensions a little bit with the grand final coming up the next day.
So great racing there in the 2V final. You can see in the inset, we're coming into the last race of the day.
Just before we launched, we learned that the novices and the second 8 hadn't done as well as they wanted. And so the weight of the entire program was resting on our shoulders, and that it was up to us to decide whether or not we had a successful season.
We were definitely, I don't want to say nervous, but a little skeptical after we barely beat Notre Dame in semis.
Virginia in 1, Michigan in 2.
But I just remember Marcel before the race, he pulled me and Joe Pinto aside to a certain pair and said, if we're down, be ready to sprint early.
UCLA in 3, George Washington, the defending champ, in 4.
So many of the crews, so many of the top crews at ACRA, we don't race at all until ACRA. In fact, we didn't race George Washington until the final.
Notre Dame been very fast all year in 5, and Rutgers in those red shirts in 6. Great to see them making a grand final here. So if things go as they've gone, as people race the way they have, George Washington and UCLA both get out pretty fast. Virginia has a pretty fast start. Notre Dame has a pretty fast start. And then Notre Dame just stays high. Again, they like to race at 38.5, 39. So we'll see how that goes. George Washington has a very solid settle, and there the boats go.
We started, and it was one of the best starts we've had that year.
We come out, we take our high strokes, we are supposed to shift, and we don't really do much of a shift. Joe Pinto stays around a 40, and I'm mumbling, shift, and he yells no.
UCLA very definitely wanting to go after this and laying down. They're still up at 39.
Throughout the entire weekend, I would always kind of just say, like, we're gonna win. Like, not, I hope we're gonna win, we might win. I would always just tell the guys, like, we're gonna win. We're all gonna get me across the line first, because I was sitting in the bow. And we're about 1,000 meters in, and I remember thinking to myself, like, oh my God, like, we might actually win.
Again, we've got UCLA up in first.
We knew that we had a strong third 500, and that was where we really moved out quite a bit over the other crews. I think in that third 500 we took 8 seats of water, almost a full length, over George Washington and the rest of the field.
Right now, UCLA just moving out. They felt for a while like they had a good crew. The other 5 crews all within a couple of seats. George Washington maybe 2 seats up on Michigan and Virginia with 500 meters to go. Now we'll see. It looks like it's going to be UCLA winning.
And then with 300 meters left, I took a glance out at George Washington and I saw they were significantly behind with only a minute or so left in the race. And I thought, oh my goodness, we won.
And GW second.
I had no idea we were winning until about 250 left. But I just remember Allie saying with like 250 left, just hang on, you guys are gonna win it.
And at that point, all I could think was just don't crab, don't crab, don't crab, don't be the one that messes up and loses this race.
I think it's going to be UCLA with a gorgeous wire-to-wire win here. George Washington fighting back. UCLA up here at 41. Just gorgeous rowing, pushing 38, 39. What a great race there. UCLA 5:53.
It kind of took like 10 seconds, I want to say almost. Well, that's what it felt like, to realize we even won.
I remember I just like burst into tears after we crossed the line in Morgan, laid back into my seat, and he just looked at me and he was just like, he was crying, and I kissed him on the forehead, and like, I don't know, just that whole experience and seeing the other boats next to us congratulating us, and it was just, I'm getting like goosebumps right now talking about it, but it was definitely a life-changing experience, and yeah, it was a beautiful moment.
Virginia 5:58 or a low 5:59. 5:59.5. And then finally Rutgers just over 6 minutes. Fastest times of the day, best racing of the day. Congratulations UCLA, Rutgers there to 6:02. Congratulations to UCLA winning the varsity men's 8